2 tracks only as I stay like that.
David Haller believes he is broken. He's been told that so many times, in so many different ways, that he long ago gave up trusting his own senses. But it's his first couple of appearances in Clockwork Psychiatric Hospital that convey the shaky self-perception he has. After years in the system, David Haller had just learned the illness at the center of his identity isn't real. He's not a paranoid schizophrenic. He's a powerful telepath and telekinetic, and it's shaken him to the core. For now, he has his memories to guide him to a better understanding of himself. In the comics, David's powers are drawn from numerous multiple personalities, each with their own specific ability. That's why he is called Legion. He is many. We've seen scenes of David surrounded by a screaming crowd repeatedly throughout Season 1, which would appear to be these different personalities or entities. For most of us, retreating into our thoughts or daydream is a way of coping with something bad or unpleasant. We can briefly pull away to recall something more pleasant. Some of us linger longer than others, but we always come back. But it's been made clear that David Haller is not like any of us. And one of the ways that's been demonstrated is by the fact that he's always been reluctant to go into his headspace. That's because he's probably always known that there's something even worse there, something more disturbing or dangerous than Division 3 or the Eye. Sid is special to David. If his sister made him want to be normal and Lenny let him just be himself, Sid makes him want to be better, not only in the sense of his mental health, but as a person. He wants to be good for her. She pushes him to do so, to try more. It shows in 100 little ways, from his efforts to avoid accidentally reading her mind, to his willingness to not go save Amy when she asks him to stay. By staying and figuring out his powers, he can help his sister, but almost as important, he can help himself to be the person he wants to be for Sydney. When he calls their relationship a romance of the mind, it's more true than he even knows. David is falling in love with the idea of who Sid makes him become, at the same time that he's falling for her. From the beginning, Legion has been in part about the unconstrained nature of time and how it toys with our understanding of both space and reality. Events don't just happen and then drop into the past. Any more than memories are things that only pop up now and then. Memories are always with us, whether we're conscious of them at a certain point or not. 1 second isn't just a blink, a small unit of time. Depending on what happens in that span, 1 second can last the rest of your life. Think about how fractured and jarring the first episode of Legion was. Narratively, it jumped back and forward in time, from place to place, and reality to reality, without any explanation of how or why we were in any one location. It was a reflection of David's scattered mind, both tormented by Farouk and dampened and confused by drugs. Each episode changed structures and tones to match the evolution of David's mind. The blips and sudden jolts lessened as he grew more clear-headed and aware of what was happening. The abrupt transitions into nightmares and surreal musical numbers increased as Lenny flexed her powers, and time seems to slow down as David enters a final confrontation with his longtime mental tenant. Chapter 6 reorients viewers, examining the Summerland crew's motivations and abilities through the psychiatric lens of Dr. Lenny Busker, who is obviously not interested in healing any of her patients. It's telling that David took refuge at Clockworks. He could have gone back to his childhood before his powers manifested, assuming there was such a time, or just anywhere but a psychiatric institution. And when confronted by the parasite that's always been with him, David didn't go to Summerland, where everyone assured him there was nothing wrong with him. He wasn't getting the help he needed, but he did meet Sid there. So that could be why he wanted to go back. But the way David throws himself into his therapy and begins rewriting his own memories, his diagnosis changes from paranoid schizophrenic to manic depressive, suggests he's taking a cue from Oliver and altering things to suit himself. David's reveling in his newfound sense of control, saying, "I'm the magic man." Colors can denote David's emotional states. He can be in danger due to a mental parasite, which is red. Love is blue, romance, comfort, and peace. The vapor is blue. Sydney and David in the white room are bathed in blue light. Fear is yellow. Green is set in opposition to yellow, like the green light of the astral plane that Lenny cannot survive. David's sister Amy, a supportive character, is introduced wearing green. Then later Amy is seen in a pale blue outfit when Carrie asks David to think of love in the MRI machine. This sentence has a lot of meaning outside the show, as one of the inspirations for Pink Floyd's song, Any Color You Like. To summarize, Roger Waters from Pink Floyd said he saw a man selling china pieces and saying to the public, "You can buy them in any color you like, but they're all blue." Delving into the meaning of the sentence and the song, it has to do with the illusion of choice, how we can perceive an entire spectrum of color to choose from, when in reality, it's all the same, blue. With a show so heavily reliant on color, I think it's appropriate that Noah Hawley picked this message, that is, if it's more than just a mere coincidence, since one of the core themes of the show is mental illness, and how David, despite being a godlike figure, cannot solve that one fundamental problem. He has no choice. How he will never be able to change the thing that ruined him in the first place, what got him stuck in clockworks. At the end of the day, he may try to change. He may live through all these colors and states, have all these powers, but at the end of the day, they're all blue. With Farouk now firmly embedded in Oliver's brain, and behind the wheel of a car, the mental freeloader is headed to a warm place. But what is he looking for? It's entirely possible that Farouk intends to use Oliver's body to help him find a more suitable host, or the Shadow King is embarking on a journey to finish what he started. Being free of Amal Farouk is a little like an epiphany before things nearly go wrong during the extraction process. David understands how much time he lost as a result of the Shadow King's manipulation, and it's put him behind in terms of being a useful member of society. Freeing David of his parasite didn't leave him without a place to go or a story to tell. By all accounts, the battle against the Shadow King has just begun. The most important development wasn't technically a part of the finale. In a post-credit sequence, we saw a drone descend on Summerland, beam David aboard, and whisk him away to parts unknown. This season was beautiful, puzzling, exhausting, and energizing in equal measure. I've never seen anything like this. Aubrey Plaza was absolutely brilliant. The pilot alone is some kind of a minor masterpiece that should be celebrated. What a tense, beautiful piece of art. I will analyze season 2 and 3 sometime later in the future. In the meanwhile, like this video, subscribe, and comment your ideas about the show. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.